Today we are sharing all of the house hunting tips. We're going to have a conversation about what things you should be looking for or keeping an eye out for while you're looking at houses, while you're house hunting, or maybe even a little bit of like before you book a showing. Basically, just some things that you're going to want to know if you're going to be house hunting in the future.
I love this because, I don't know many videos of this topic, but also
it's not talked about a lot.
The realistic parts of what should we be looking out for in a showing, because I want to always put myself in a buyer's shoes. I want to put myself in your shoes, being your realtor, looking out for things you might be noticing or feeling emotionally at that time. Because I consider this job to be like not a counselor. I'm not a qualified, licensed professional counselor, but I'm here to guide you to the right steps. But then ultimately after the showing, what are we going to do? Are we going to write an offer? And sometimes things can get confusing. It can. We can get so confused after 5 showings, and that's why I always recommend we only show 3 to 5 homes max a day.
In one setting.
We can forget all these little details, and then when it is time to write an offer, who knows what's going on? So these are simple things that Mariah and I are going to discuss today that you should be looking for online before the showing, but also during your showing to talk to your realtor with.
So before I even would set up a showing, if I were going to be house hunting for myself personally, I would look at the address on Google Maps, because even if you're not familiar with the area, it can help give you somewhat, maybe you're out of state, you're not from here, but where you're house hunting at, it could still give you somewhat of an idea of what area it's in, what's nearby, that type of thing. Obviously, you can't always know if it's going to be great based off of Google Maps or not. There's still things that can come up when you get to the house, but it can help. It can help save, because there are times when you pull a house up on Google Maps and you realize it's just not where you want to be.
Have you ever done that? You show up to a showing and the buyer and yourself, we look at the home, we're in the area, the side street it just was on, it's in a dark alleyway, and you
don't even go inside.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, I've done that so many. I've had that happen so many times while out house hunting with buyers, where we pull up to the house and they're like, yeah, we don't need to go inside. Let's go to the next one. They just know from the location that
which things happen. But that's why we always do strongly suggest that we Google Maps it. Everything on Google online, just type it in and then go to that map section and then do that aerial view and look at the side of town. Look at that possible neighboring property. These images, they're sometimes not always up to date, but they at least give you a decent idea of your surrounding area. And I think that's really important to know as a buyer, because you don't want to waste your time. We don't want to waste the seller's time. If you got kids, we don't want to get them out of daycare or go find a babysitter to then go show this showing that you don't even want at the end. Right. So make sure we do some type of work, some type of homework is what I'm saying, so we know what we're really looking at.
I have clients who are very particular, and they will even go on a website called schooldigger.com and look at the school ratings. They'll go on crimespot.net, I think it is, and they'll look up, crime in the area, all the specific crime ratings. And of course, that's something we as your real estate agents are always happy to do for you as well. And I always say, if you're looking in certain sides of town where, like South Salem, West Salem, they're known for being desirable sides of town. Like, it's safe. Like, I don't necessarily think that going quite that far is necessary, but sometimes clients want to do that and they just want to, check all of those little facts before they even get to a showing.
Now, while I'm online and I'm getting ready to text my listing or my buyer's agent, say, hey, I'd really like to view this home, I'm always looking at that property description as well as the online photos that I'm seeing. And here's why. How well written is the property description? And then how detailed is it? Through those details, write down the list of questions you might have with your buyer's agent for that buyer's agent to find out for you as they're setting up the showing. So when you get there at this home, you have a list of details you didn't know that the answers are now, or the questions are now answered, and you're able to move forward on things if it was a go home, I would call it.
So what are some things that somebody should look for in a home or keep an eye out for, or really just be focusing on as they're going through houses while they're house hunting?
Well, there's a lot of things. And now we're not licensed professionals. Licensed professional realtors we are, but we're not licensed professional contractors or inspectors.
Right.
So I'm always looking out for like those hidden things that usually you and I aren't going to know about. So as you, the client, you're walking through the home. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath. You go view all the 3 bedrooms, look at the bathroom, you open the toilet lid, you maybe flush the toilet lid, see if it flushes. I am kind of keeping my eye out, being quiet at times, and looking for those nitty-gritty things that I see out of all my other real estate transactions that we've had in the past through experience, to then kind of let you know when it comes to quality, condition, things that might be hidden. And then that ultimately could reflect on the offer we're submitting to the seller. So things to know during the home. I would say look and observe at the current person living in the home. Put yourself in their life. Put yourself in their shoes. How are they presenting the home? Is it clean? Is it dirty? Are there any smells? Are things covered up that probably shouldn't be, that should have just been fixed and done right the first time? Because if you're seeing that visually, I could only assume there's going to be hidden problems later on. Now, that is what your inspection period's for. So if the home works for you, it works for you, and we submit an offer and get it under contract. Then we write an inspection. We deal with that hidden thing we can't see during the showing. But what I'm saying is there might be more things down the road if you observe how the seller's currently taking care of the property.
That's true. A lot of times the way the seller is presenting the property can really reflect to how well they actually, took care of it over the years while they lived there, and reflect as to like what might come up on an inspection, that type of thing. I know not too long ago, I was showing a house to, virtually, they weren't actually there. They were out of state, to some buyers who were both in the military, and the house that we were looking at that they ended up buying, actually, the seller was in the military, and you could tell because, there were pictures everywhere and all the things hanging on the walls. And it was funny because everything in that house was meticulous, like perfectly, from the way it was, everything was perfectly shined, shiny, clean. Like I've never seen a house so clean, to the way that you open a cupboard and everything is folded like so perfectly, just perfect organization, every room, every closet. It was amazing. I wish I had those organization skills, and obviously there are a lot of instances when the house is going to be the right house for you, and it just hasn't been taken care of that well. And it's a quick fix to have a professional house cleaner come in, have some paint put on the walls. Like there's a lot that you can do pretty inexpensively to make the whole feel of the house feel so much better.
Yeah, and I mean, just as a quick observation of knowing how the seller is taking care of the property, the landscaping, the exterior of the home, I mean, I just kind of add those up as like points, checking them off the box, because that, for me, as a real estate professional, I'm your negotiator. As the buyer side, I'm here to save you as much money as possible and negotiate for you as well when it comes to the repair items, the needed list, the in scheduling the inspections, and dealing with that seller's agent that is fighting for the seller's behalf. Now, I need to know if I'm calling their bluff or not. It's like a poker game, right? And generally, rule of thumb is, for me, I mean, I've been doing this a little while. I'm not a rookie anymore, I could say, but I'm able to play a little bit around with the negotiation side to get my clients what they need. Now, I'm always putting you guys in the best position possible. That's our job as realtors. So you focus more on, does the home work for you? Let me focus on more of the negotiations if that is necessary.
Yeah. I would say, as far as what to be, looking for while you're house hunting, I think that the biggest things are really just like location is so important, because you can't change the location. So am I going to be happy here? Am I going to like this location? What is traffic like, driving by my house at 2 p.m. Like, is that a big deal to me? Like, where the home is located, you can't change the lot size. You can't change the yard size. You can change the house size, but you're probably not going to. So all of those things that can't be changed are really big to focus on. And then of course, structural issues, like things like that, like that's what your inspection is for. Yeah. So I wouldn't worry too much about that when house hunting, but condition is something that I honestly wouldn't focus on as much as the things that you can't change, because like I said earlier, you can pretty inexpensively do some things that will make a really big difference. It doesn't have to be a full home remodel to make it feel so much just better inside.
Yeah. And I mean, just this morning, put this in perspective, I just sent out 45 text messages to buyer clients of mine that we're currently working with. 45 texts saying, hey, how can I be better with your home search? Answer these 3 things. Maybe I put 4. I did price, meaning what's your price point? Location, where do you want to live within? Bedroom sizes, so size of the house, so size. And then exterior. What is your have-tos on the exteriors? Because some people have to have a shop, something like that. And so with those 4 points, it's like those should really be what we're looking out for in a property search. And that all starts from online and at home. Price, location, size, have-tos.
Yeah.
Those 4 things are pretty important, and then something to relay to your real estate professional. If you don't have a real estate professional, reach out to us. We're always happy to help you. We are based here in Oregon, but if you are outside of Oregon and you're viewing this video, we can connect you with a well-qualified agent in your area. All you have to do is ask.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, that's good. I think that at the end of the day, the biggest things that we're seeing buyers right now having to compromise on, especially first-time buyers that just want to get into home ownership, home prices have gone up so much. The biggest things we're seeing compromise on is the condition and also the location. Just being like, this isn't necessarily my forever destination I want to be in, but I'm going to compromise and commute to work and just be outside of, Salem, for example, because that's a big area we sell in. I'm just going to be in a town that's a little bit further out there so that I can find something in my budget. So that's a big tip, I guess, is just know you may have to make some compromises. I know a lot of our buyers, when they first start out house hunting, they have this huge list of like, these are all the things that we need in a home. Like, this is what I really want. I have to have this particular size yard and this size closet. But then once they see a few houses, they're like, you know what? I want to buy a house and I value home ownership, and it might take me 5 years with the inventory we have of looking before I find something that fits all these needs and checks all these boxes. So there's a little give and take there.
Yeah. And that's the thing though, when we're dealing with inventory being so low, what is it? Pickers can't be choosers, or beggars can't be choosers. There you go. Yeah. Beggars can't be choosers. and I mean, it's kind of relevant because the home prices and the home crisis, the affordability crisis of things right now. And that's what I mean. It works if it works for you, because there's opportunity out there everywhere, no matter where you go. So those naysayers, those doomsday glowers, I mean, you got to move on and see what's best for you in this market, and see what real estate professional is actually going to take you under their wing and fight for you to get closing costs paid for, a buy down rate happening. Because what I can tell you are deals still happen.
Yeah.
Deals still are being made. They're happening right now. And if it's not you, it's somebody else making this purchase. Now, what we do see is home sellers downsizing. So these higher sales priced homes, they're going to be going on market. They're going to be sitting a little bit longer, maybe longer than the seller would like. Price reductions, they could be coming because they're not selling at these higher amounts.
Right.
With high interest rates, it's always a little bit higher. So keep your eye out on maybe these more square footed homes. So more valuable homes, I would say $600,000+ homes, at least, and in cities especially. Yeah. These could be good opportunities for you to get your family an upgrade into. Not many people are talking about an upgrade because of these interest rates and the higher sales price. But what I can tell you is we're able to negotiate off of that sales price a lot more, as well as closing costs being paid for. So just keep in mind with that. I think there's real opportunity out there, whether you are a first-time home buyer, a seller downsizing, you're still getting high quality value. And then also that resale, because if you currently own a home right now, you have tons of equity, tons of equity to play with. That can go towards a buy down, that can go towards your down payment, get rid of your mortgage insurance over 20% down. There's options. 100%. There's a lot of good options.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in this housing market that we did not see when interest rates were lower, and that we will not be seeing if and when interest rates go lower. So thank you for hanging out with us today. If you watched this video all the way through, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and hit the bell, because we do come on here every single week and talk about real estate. And be sure to head over to our channel if you are a first-time buyer. We have a playlist just for you, sharing all of the home buying things that you are going to want to know beforehand, and we'll see you next week.